Thank you so much for staying with First Issues. Our conversation with Fiduciary Specialist at Botswana Life Insurance Limited, Refilwe Mogwe, continues.
So we've been talking about estate planning, but at the outset of our conversation, I said this is estate planning and wills, right? Where does a will fit in all of this?
Okay, so a will fits in prior to you passing. So you need to do your will before you pass on, because it then makes the process of winding up your estate much more seamless, because then there is an instruction or direction as to what should happen in the event that you pass on. Meaning that in your will you've stipulated the kind of steps that should be taken, who is going to get what, and under what circumstances. So that is what a will is. It's just a set of instructions whereby you are saying, in the event of my passing on, please do X, Y, and Z. But over and above that, a will has to be, developed under at a set rules in terms of the Wills Act. So the Wills Act is very clear as to who can do a will, who can witness a will, and how should the document itself be produced. So it's very important when you say you have a will that you are sure it is in line with the Wills Act, and that this then can be considered a valid document in the event that you pass on. Also, what a will does, it also assists in distributing the estate seamlessly, like I said. Now, if we draw back to the conversation we had about creditors and debtors, that after that process is done, creditors are confirmed, debtors are confirmed, beneficiaries are confirmed. The next thing then is to present a first and final liquidation and distribution account to the master. Now, in that, if you have a will, the will then guides. So in that liquidation and distribution account, you can then take into account the deceased's wishes and then kind of transpose them into this liquidation and distribution account, because that is what will guide the master in accepting this liquidation and distribution account. Because the master then wants to know, okay, Refilwe passed on, she had a will, we've confirmed that she's got 5 heirs who are going to benefit from her, she owes 2 or 3 people, and how then are you going to deal with everything? So you can see that the administration of an estate is a legal process, but also more like an accounting process. Yeah. So once we have that liquidation and distribution account, it looks a bit like the inventory, but at the bottom there, that's where now you do a lot of accounting to say, okay, fine, this is what was in the gross, these are the expenses, these are the types of taxes if applicable, and X, Y, and Z. This is now the net that is going to be distributed to the beneficiaries. And then in that also you stipulate who the beneficiaries are, what percentages they are getting, if it's percentages, or what assets they are getting. So that is where now it becomes clearer as to whether this account or the liquidation and distribution account, there's anything to distribute. So if we have more liabilities than assets, that means that there's not much to. So that is why when we talk to our clients about the importance of having a will, we always start with the education of liquidity, to say that liquidity is essential, and however you close it, it's very important, or however you achieve it. And we also guide our clients to say, look, just get educated first on what it means for you to be an individual that has an estate with obligations X, Y, and Z.
Let us reiterate the importance of a will. Our culture shuns or really is not forthcoming in welcoming the necessity of having a will, right? And I've been hearing you giving an example by yourself, saying that if Refilwe passes at this, which is some of the myths that Botswana have about drawing a living will. So maybe reiterate that importance of drawing up a will whilst you're still capable.
Okay, yeah, so that's good. We can have the conversation around the myths, right? To say, if I have a will, it means I'm gonna die. If I have a will, it means that I have assets. If I'm too young to do a will, you know, it's complicated, you know, it's expensive. So all of those things are not true. But I think I want to focus more on I have to have assets to do a will. So if you are just a young, you know, woman or man and you have children and you have not accumulated as much as you think you need to have accumulated, it is very important for you to have a will, because in your will you can stipulate what should happen to your minor children. Who is going to be the guardian of your minor children? Now, a guardian is not a guardian because they are your loved one and they're the next person and it's going to be your sister. It's a very serious process, because if we are talking about minor children, you don't want the death of a parent to make their life even worse, because maybe the parent did not plan ahead. So in your will, you can literally talk about that. A will, you can also speak about how you wish to be buried, you know, or do you even want to be buried? So the thing about a will is that if you leave it just to chance and say, look, in the event, it can be very messy. It can be unnecessarily protracted. So a will, at least when it is there is some kind of guidance. There is some kind of, you know, place to go, and a compass basically that shows us where we must go.